Welcome to this QO Quick Clips and Tips episode. Today we're covering the 7 record-keeping mistakes that put your organic operation at risk. My name is Mackenzie Watson, and I'll be your host today. I've spent the last 13 years in the organic certification industry, working alongside producers, certifiers, inspectors, and industry partners along the way. These days, I manage customer success here at Quick Organics. I'm joined today by 2 great guests. First, Connie Carr, who's going to walk us through the 7 biggest record-keeping mistakes we see operations make and exactly how to avoid each one. And then Jonathan Pierce is going to show these solutions live inside Quick Organics. I'll let Connie give a quick introduction now, and we'll meet Jonathan a little later when we get to the demo. Connie, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Connie Carr, Chief Certification Liaison here at Quick Organics. I've spent most of my career on organic certification side of this industry, reviewing organic system plans and records for operations of every size. So everything on today's list is something I've actually experienced or I've actually watched happen over and over. Glad you're all here.
Connie, thanks so much for being here today. Let's go ahead and get started. Connie, before we jump into this list, why does record keeping matter so much for certification? I think a lot of people think of it as just a formality.
Yeah, honestly, most operations don't run into trouble because of what actually happened out in the field. They run into trouble because of how or whether it got written down. And record keeping problems are quiet normally. They don't really show up on a normal day. They show up on inspection day, which is the worst possible time to discover a gap, frankly. By then, it's stressful and it's pretty expensive to fix. There's a saying in certification that every inspector knows. If it wasn't written down, it didn't happen. But I'd add the flip side because I think it gets lost. Your records aren't really for your inspector. They're the story of your operation. They're the proof of your organic integrity and the thing that lets you sell with confidence. Your inspector only gets to borrow them for one day a year.
That makes sense. So let's walk through the specifics. You've got 7 mistakes you see most often. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. All right, mistake number 1 on your list, waiting until the end of the week or even the end of the month or year to record activities. What's actually going wrong here?
It's so common because when you're out working the operation, sitting down to log things isn't usually top of your mind. But the longer you wait, the more details end up getting forgotten. Records become inaccurate and gaps start to appear that are hard to explain later. The fix is logging activities actually happen, not from your memory later. And that's exactly what the activity tracker in Quick Organics is built for. We will show you that in a little bit. I'll tell you what that looks like from the reviewer's chair. I've read activity logs where a whole month was clearly and cleanly written in one sitting. I can tell. It's the same pen, it's the same handwriting. Every entry was suspiciously a little too tidy. And when the dates in a log don't quite line up with the weather or the receipts or the harvest records, the questions kind of start to come top of mind. Nobody was hiding anything. They were just reconstructing June from memory in July. But now they're spending their inspection explaining those discrepancies instead of showing off their operation.
Number 2 is keeping organic records in multiple places. Spreadsheets, notebooks, email, the shoebox in the closet. Why does that create so much risk?
Well, individually, each of those might make sense in the moment, a notebook in the truck, an email with the receipt attached. But together, they make it incredibly difficult to find supporting documentation when your inspector is actually asking for it. The fix is keeping everything in one searchable location, and that's the digital filing cabinet that we have with Quick Organics. This one I saw constantly. An inspector would ask a simple question. Say, show me the receipt for that compost. And the answer becomes a 20-minute expedition. It's not in the binder. Maybe it's in an email. Maybe it's in the glove box of the truck. I've watched one routine question turn a half-day inspection into a full-day inspection. And remember, operations are often paying for that time of the inspection. So those scattered records become expensive in the most literal way.
What about mistake number 3? Missing supporting documents. What's usually missing and why does it matter so much?
Mhm. Your organic records often need something backing them up. Invoices, seed tags, receipts, cleaning logs, input documentation. And if that supporting paperwork isn't there, the record isn't really complete. The fix is storing documents alongside the records they support, so they never actually get separated. And that's what the digital filing cabinet handles what they and does. Here's the heartbreaker version of this one. I've reviewed operations with beautiful practices, truly doing everything right in the field. But when we ask for the documentation behind the records, the seed search, the input labels, the receipts, it just wasn't there. And that's the hard truth of certification. A gap in your paperwork and a gap in your practices can look exactly like the same on paper. You can lose ground on documentation alone, even when the field work was flawless.
Mistake 4 is forgetting reoccurring compliance tasks, things like annual updates or records of your equipment cleaning. Why do those slip through the cracks?
Because they don't happen once and disappear. They come back around, and it's easy to lose track of exactly when those things need to come back around or when they're due. The fix is keeping compliance activities on a schedule with reminders, and that's what our task management is built to do. Equipment cleaning records are the classic example, especially for split operations sharing equipment between organic and conventional. Everyone does the clean out. Almost nobody remembers to write it down every single time because it's routine. Annual updates are the same story. They come around once a year, which is exactly long enough to forget how you did it last time. Anything that reoccurs needs a system because memory is not a schedule.
Number 5 is relying on one person to remember everything. Talk to us about why that's risky, even for a really diligent operator.
Yeah, because if that one person is out sick or they take time off or they leave the operation altogether, important records can get lost or simply overlooked. The fix is letting multiple team members contribute to and access your records. That's what our user management is built for. I think of operations where one person, and it usually oftentimes is just one person, held the records in their head and their handwriting for over 15 years. When that person retired or got sick at harvest, and suddenly the operation can't answer basic questions where the records live, what the field histories are or were, how inputs were tracked. Nothing went wrong in the field. They just lost the one person who could prove it.
Mistake 6, scrambling right before an inspection. I feel like a lot of people have done this at some point. Why is it such a problem?
Yeah, because if you wait until inspection season to get organized, you're creating unnecessary stress for yourself, and you're much more likely to miss something. The fix is staying inspection ready year round, not just when you know something is coming up. That's really what the activity tracker and the digital filing cabinet do in working together. You can tell on inspection day who kept up and who did the late night cramming. I've seen producers lose most of a week in the middle of the season when they just could least afford it, rebuilding an entire year of records before an inspection and still walk in with gaps. And I've seen operations where everything was already in order and the inspector the inspection was enjoyable. A conversation about the operation instead of a scavenger hunt for those records. Some same standards, just a completely different experience.
And the last one really ties it all together, having no system at all. What does that actually look like on an operation?
It looks like even the most diligent operators struggling because there's no repeatable process for capturing those activities, assigning the responsibilities, and storing the records. The fix is bringing it all together into one connected system, which is really what we built Quick Organics to be. And This is really the thread through all of them because the operators I worry about were almost never careless people. They were diligent people, just without a system. I used to tell them, I don't doubt that you did that work. I doubt that we can prove it, though. When capturing activities, storing documents, and tracking deadlines all depends on good intentions instead of a repeatable process, every one of the 6 mistakes we've just covered becomes just a matter of time.
That's such a helpful rundown, Connie. Thank you. I think a lot of us can probably see ourselves in at least one or two of those. So that's all 7 right there in one place, and you can see how they really build on each other. Waiting to record, keeping things scattered, missing documents, forgetting reoccurring tasks, relying on just one person, scrambling before an inspection, and just not having a system at all. Connie, thank you for walking us all through that. All right, let's see this in action. Jonathan is going to walk us through exactly how the digital filing cabinet, activity tracker, and task and user management tools in Quick Organics address every mistake we just covered.
Thanks, Mackenzie. I'm going to jump into Quick Organics directly and show you exactly where each of these tools lives and how they solve the mistakes that Connie just walked us through. So this is the digital filing cabinet. This is where every document your operation needs lives. Invoices, seed tags, receipts, cleaning logs, whatever your inspector might ask to see. So first I want to show you how easy it is to simply upload a document and tag and organize it. So we come over here to our upload button. As you see here right away, we can select a category. So we have tons of different options from folders and subfolders. So I'm going to choose an option, choose a file. Oh, and as you see, it is already here. So it was just that simple. Upload, set the category, choose the file, and the system does the rest. Now, what about if you came in and you were hurrying, you didn't notice this or you forgot about it, and you just chose a file, and it pops away as well? Well, where did that go? Well, anytime that you upload a document and you haven't set a category for it yet, it just simply lives down here in uncategorized. So it's going to stay happily down here until you come back and you set a category for it, and then it'll pop on over to wherever it needs to live now. So it's that simple. Next, let's take a look at the search and filter function. I want to show you how fast it is to pull up a specific document. Now, we've all had a moment where for whatever reason we needed to get to something quickly, and rather than pouring through a filing cabinet or, like me, trying to navigate the seemingly hundreds of different file icons on my desktop, it can get a little overwhelming. But with our filter feature here, you can search from 3 different levels. We can search by folder. Oh, got to spell it right. We can search by folder. We can search at the file level. Or we can go all the way down to the document level. And it looks for those keywords and pulls everything right up for you. So no rummaging, no stressing about where something might be, no having to look in a million different places. It's all right there. So now, let me show you how to generate a share link of either a single document or your completed OSP compilation. So if you are going through and you're filling out your organic system plan, and there's a specific document from a module that you want to go ahead and share, I want to show you again. One of the subfolders here is your OSP modules. Once you click on that, all the subfolders are all divided up and labeled nice and clean for all the modules that you'll be doing. And every generated PDF and those module PDFs automatically generate as soon as you have finished the module. So you don't have to worry about anything. It automatically generates and moves it into this folder. So all those PDFs will be in here, and any corresponding attachments from those modules will all live nice and neatly. So you just simply click to download, and send it off to as many recipients as you want. Now, what about that fully completed OSP? Well, once you have completed all the modules, you'll see a banner pop up here to go ahead and generate your OSP and start your submission. So what we are going to look at here, once you've done that, you have two options. You can simply copy a share link, which if you choose that, you can simply generate a link to send to as many recipients as you want. That link is going to be to a downloadable zip folder. Within the zip folder will be automatically generated files for every single one of your modules. So you'll get the zip folder, subfolders labeled for all the modules, and all of those module PDFs and corresponding attachments all nice and organized. Nothing that you have to group together, it automatically does it for you. If you choose this option, email to my certifier, or any person of your choosing, you click on that, you just come down here, you enter their email in, optional message if you want to, and you just send it right away. And we'll generate that OSP package, that PDF and supporting documents, and send it to the recipient with a secure download link. It's just that simple. Quick, easy, seamless. Now, let's take a deeper look at Activity Tracker. Activity Tracker is where you log what's actually happening on your operation as it happens, not from memory at the end of the week or the month or the season. So let's come in here and walk through logging an activity together and attaching it to a piece of land. So as you see, once I clicked on create an activity, we have lots of options here, and they're all divided by scope of your production. So we have planting, harvesting, irrigation, we have livestock transport, healthcare, we have general activities. And if you scroll through all of these, and there's an activity that's really unique to your operation, but it doesn't really fit exactly completely in one of these. If you come down here, we have a custom option where you can actually create your own activity, which I think is just wonderful. So let's go ahead and do a planting activity together. And I think I am going to choose, because, it is past July 4th in the United States, which if you've been into any stores means that it is already pre-Halloween. So we're going to plant some pumpkins. And with the planting activity and most other activities, you can choose a singular planting date, or it can occur over multiple days. So we're going to plant our pumpkins between today and Saturday. And this is one of my favorite parts. So this will show you how everything in this platform is just connected so seamlessly that you don't have to juggle a million thoughts at once. So not only are we setting what our activity is, what crop we're planting, when we're planting it, we can automatically tag it to the location. And let me show you what is so great about that. Before I do, you can see all the other details that we have here and supporting documents. Once we've created this activity, we come over here to our locations and look at this. Not only in this spot is all the information about that location already logged, all the activity history lives here as well. So we have not just a list of things that have happened, but we have all the information archived as well. So we're going to have exactly what happened, all the details that we've wanted to attach to this, and all the relevant documents attached as well. So no scrambling, no looking around. Everything is interconnected. Everything makes sense. Everything is linked together, which I just love. It has always been one of my favorite things. I can't get enough of it. So we come back to our activity tracker landing page here, and we can see our list view, but we can also see our calendar view. So we can be checking by week, by month, this month, last month, next month. It really keeps you inspection ready all year round, not just in season. And because of the fact that this is going to be your new buddy, your new best friend out in the field, this also has a mobile view and mobile access. So by the time inspection day rolls around, there's no scrambling, there's no panic. The record's already there. It's already there, it's already organized, it's extensive, it's all the details that happened in the moment that, let's be honest, if you waited even until the end of the day, let alone the end of the week or the month, you would probably not have all of those details still in your head. Finally, let's take a look at task and user management. This is where it all comes together as an actual system, not just separate tools. So we see here our list of activities to do. What's great about this is that we're not only setting our tasks, which we're going to do in just a second, I just wanted to show you, but say planting corn activity. Well, that's not to do anymore. We already did that. You can simply come in here and drag and drop. And drag and drop if that's canceled. We have a calendar view just like an activity tracker. And we also have an overview of what I have planned for today. Well, since we already finished planting the corn, let's give ourselves a task to do today. So we give our task a title. We give our task as detailed a description for any instructions, any links to anything, any additional context. We give it a priority. We give it a due date. We can connect it together to a specific land, or if this wasn't planting or harvesting, or say it was a clean out activity, we can link it together to a facility. And the best part, we can assign it to a team member or an entire team of people. So now this doesn't fall to one person. Now this isn't holding everything in your head. And especially recurring things like annual renewals or equipment cleaning, this really helps you keep your compliance on schedule. You're going to have reminders as soon as you log in. You're going to be sent reminders when things are overdue, when they need more information, when they're logged as done. Everything is in check. Nothing falls through the cracks. So now it's not just you holding everything in your head. Your whole team can contribute, and nothing recurring falls on the wayside. It's really a fix for one of those last mistakes that we went through. This is having one connected system instead of a patchwork of habits. So just to bring it all together again briefly, recording as you go, staying inspection ready year-round. That's our friend activity tracker. Keeping everything in one place with the documents to back it up. That's our digital filing cabinet. And staying on top of those recurring tasks and not relying on just one person That's task and user management. So individually, all of these things are wonderful solutions to specific problems, but together, they're really what turns record keeping from something that, quite frankly, we'll dread into something that just happens in the background very seamlessly. No stress. All right, Mackenzie, back to you.
Connie, Jonathan, thank you both so much for walking us through this. Before we go, I want to make sure everyone catches this. If you sign up for Quick Organics by August 31st, you'll get a free 12-month trial. No credit card required to begin. You can get started today at quickorganics.app or learn more at our website at quickorganics.com. If you have any questions after today or just want to chat, reach out to us anytime at hello@quickorganics.com. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.